Let's see if that works a little bit better. I bet it does. I bet it does. So we're going to go ahead and it's up. So let's go ahead and get this rolling. We'll start this all over, everybody. As always, I'm an idiot and didn't have the microphone up and running. Let me know in the chat if you could hear me now. So, how you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Take two. Indiana, 63-10 winners over the Fighting Illini at Memorial Stadium. According to IU, 56,088 fans here, which is a new program record for attendance for a home game. Just absolutely hammered the Illini every step of the way. And it's the numbers are video game numbers. Kobe Martin, 12 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kalon Black, 10 carries, 89 yards. He scored a touchdown. Fernando Mendoza, 21 of 23, 267, and 5 touchdowns. That's 10 touchdown passes in 2 games. Elijah Surratt, 92 carries, rather 9 catches for 92 yards, couple of touchdowns. Omar Cooper, 6 catches, 78 yards. Just an amazing job. And Indiana just dominated this thing. And I can tell you right now, Kurt Signetti knows his history, and he knows who the guy was on the other bench. And I feel like a lot of you probably do too. See, Brett Bielema was the head coach at Wisconsin when Indiana lost 83-20. Bill Lynch's last year here, and this little payback felt pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. This was a special one. 812-393-2600 is the number. We have our first caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Waylon from Evansville. I'm here with my dad, Darren, and we got something to say to you.
Okay.
Indiana. Indiana absolutely beat down Illinois today. It was not even a game. We had one of our friends that went to the game with us that left in the third quarter because he was tired of watching it. I mean, what can you say about that? I mean, just an absolute beatdown.
Yeah, and in every way, shape, and form, this thing wasn't close at all. Again, last year we did these shows, and I really struggled sometimes to kind of nitpick the Hoosiers, and I got nothing to nitpick them on tonight. I mean, in one of the biggest home games in Indiana history, certainly in Memorial Stadium history, Indiana showed up, and they showed up big.
And I'm saying Fernando right read on almost every play. I mean, he was not just thinking and dunking. He was making the good read, you know.
In making the good reads here, Jared Kelly from Peegs.com made the point that a lot of the yards that Mendoza was picking up was on runs after the catch. And that's fine. You know, that's the 43-yarder Nowakowski on a screen. You had a couple of really nice runs by Cooper and Surratt. But the bottom line is he was giving them the ball in a place to do something with it. It wasn't just completions. It was accuracy that allowed his receivers to do something after they made the catch.
Put it on their numbers and let them go to work, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 812-393-2600 is the number. Callers, did you have more?
No, that's all, man. Have a good night.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
Again, 812-393-2600 is the number. Go ahead and give us a call. Or if you're in the Memorial Stadium parking lot, I'm sitting out here next to the tennis center. I got a light on me and a canopy. I'm easy to find. Got one of the people over here waving a towel. Josh is waving a towel over here. We got some dancing. It was a hell of an atmosphere here at Memorial Stadium tonight, to say the least. When you look at the numbers that are involved here, it's absolutely crazy. Again, Mendoza, 21 of 23, 267, and 5 touchdowns. And this started right from the start. I mean, Illinois tried to play tempo early, and IU didn't flex. They took it, and they kept on going. Hoosiers strike first, too, when D'Angelo Pons blocks a punt, scoops and scores. And Matt Weaver from Peegs.com, he made the comment in the press box, when you have an All-American quarterback blocking punts on special teams, that's buy-in. And there ain't no question that that was the case. When you have that, it was the first punt block for a touchdown in a couple of years. Illinois' tempo, which it seemed that they tried to learn what happened against Kennesaw State and decided to go ahead and try to run a little bit of tempo, caused a little bit of confusion that led to Illinois' first touchdown, a 59-yard touchdown pass to Colin Dixon. Safeties didn't communicate. That's something that I know that Sig will go ahead and pay attention for. But that was it. That was it. Illinois was blitzing a lot early, and IU adjusted on the fly with quick passes, unlike Indiana teams that we've seen in the past. They didn't wait till halftime to make that adjustment, and it was that decision by Kurt Signetti to go for it on fourth down in the first quarter at about midfield had showed the confidence he had in his defense, the confidence he had in his offense to pick up their 3 feet, and they got the first down, and that led to the second touchdown, and that really opened the faucet on Illinois. 812-393-2600. We got another caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey there. My name is Austin from the region, Northwest Indiana. I'm a current student here at IU. I just wanted to bring up,
wait a second.
I think it's
Wait a second, Austin. What part of the region?
Crown Point.
I'm from Maryville. See, region rats everywhere.
Oh, here we go. I love to hear that. Well, no, I just wanted to bring up, there were a lot of overrated fans towards Illinois, and a lot of the fans were saying, Illinois sucks and whatnot. We heard all week how great their defense was. I think it's more of a testimony to how great our offense is and how great preparing the school, preparing the team to come out and give a great atmosphere for the players themselves, and then prepare that offense to go and stomp on that defense. So I just wanted to say, props to Illinois. They're a good team, and they came out and gave them everything they had, but we're just that much better. Our offense is that good.
Well, and the offensive line just absolutely overwhelmed Illinois. That's how Indiana was able to run for 300 plus yards. And then you had Indiana's defense that was just fantastic. I mean, they were in the backfield at the snap over and over and over again. I haven't looked. Let's see, what is was the total for defense here in terms of sacks? Indiana's 7 sacks on the night. They spent the whole afternoon in the backfield, and it's just unbelievable, just fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you taking my call. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Again, 812-393-2600 is the number. And Russell says, bring back the intern. Jeff says, Ken, what does the intern think? The intern thought that Lewis Moore should have caught the pick six that went through his hands, but he did appreciate the sack afterwards. I got a text message there. And that's something that we need to talk about real quick before we get to another caller. But this is an Indiana team that put 63 points up on Illinois and dropped 2 probable pick sixes. So it could have been a lot worse, and that means a lot more fun for IU fans. Got a next caller? Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Jared, Peegs.com. How are you?
Hey, Jared Kelly, how you doing?
How are you? I'm good. I got done with Kurt Signetti's post-game press conference. Obviously, a lot for him to feel good about coming out of this one. 63 points, man. I know you've been around a long time, Ken. This is something.
Yeah, this was special. There's no question. This was special with Sig in the press conference, and as soon as you guys get it up, I'll go ahead and I'll play it on here. But what was kind of his attitude? What did he have to say about the game?
Yeah, this is pretty much vintage Signetti. Never too high, never too low. There was a couple national reporters in there who tried to prod him a little bit on, what kind of statement does this make for Indiana, things like that. And Signetti kind of stepped over those questions a little bit, tiptoed around them. But deep down in Signetti's mind, this has to feel good for him, right? He's heard all the talk about this, Illinois being this year's Indiana, all that kind of stuff. He's not stupid. He's heard all that stuff. And internally going into this week, I kind of felt I got that vibe from Signetti as well. He's never going to vocalize that kind of stuff publicly, but I would not be surprised if he used that kind of stuff in the locker room. as part of a motivation for Indiana this week. And it was really business as usual. But 63 points against top 10 team, most points by a Big Ten team against an AP top 10 team ever. You know, if Kurt Signetti said he was going to go crack a beer last week, he might crack a couple tonight.
Yeah, I would hope so, and he certainly deserved it with the way that his team put things together. 579 yards of total offense. Mendoza 21 to 23 for 267 and 5 touchdowns. And I was mentioning earlier before you call about how you were talking about the job that Indiana's receivers did in yards after the catch. Uh, just your thoughts on that receiving core and what they were able to do. 186 yards after the catch, that's 186 out of the 267. Your thoughts on just the job they did collectively?
Yeah, truly incredible. Yeah, and I remember I did know that too in the press box because it was like Mendoza had all these huge passing numbers at halftime going in the third quarter. And you look at it and it's like, well, Indiana's receivers were a big part of that. And not just that, I thought Indiana's play calling tonight, both sides of the ball, Brian Haynes, Mike Shanahan, I thought both of them called brilliant games from start to finish. Mike Shanahan especially, some of those, we saw the Riley Nowakowski, what was it, 43-yard touchdown. He basically went untouched into the end zone on just a simple tight end screen. Little things like that to get Fernando Mendoza into rhythm, to get the receivers on the same page as him. So I thought Shanahan called a great game. And then, like you mentioned, the explosive plays, the different kind of playmaking that Indiana got all across the board. I honestly didn't expect that because I wasn't sure, Illinois talent level wise. Obviously, a huge step up from what Indiana's played this year. But to see Omar Cooper, be able to explode past Illinois secondary like he did, like we've seen this year, to see Elijah Surratt even go down the sideline a couple times, it just shows that Indiana, talent level wise, they can hang. We'll see what they can hang against Penn State and the Oregon's coming up, but they are solidly there in that upper tier.
Now, the whole idea that they had questions to answer because of there's a lot of people that didn't believe in Indiana coming out and turning in this kind of performance. How do you think this might change the view of Indiana as on a national level?
Well, for one, I hope the national media doesn't spin it like they did last year when Indiana beat Washington, Michigan, Nebraska, those kind of teams. Because when let's not forget when Indiana beat them, those teams were never that good. I came into this year, I was kind of a doubter about Illinois and their top 10 ranking and all this preseason hype. And I even said that as much, whether it was on the board, on the podcast with me and Matt that we do each week. I said I didn't think Illinois was a top 10 team. But let's not forget, like Illinois returned, what was it, 20 out of its 22 starters from last year, something like that. Like, this is a veteran team. Obviously they didn't have the talent to match with Indiana tonight. They had a ton of injuries in the secondary tonight. That didn't help either. But this is a veteran team. They went to the Citrus Bowl last year. They beat South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl. Brett Bielema was a good coach. Obviously they didn't show on the field tonight, but this Illinois team is good, and I don't know how far they're going to go this year. They certainly did not look like a CFP team tonight. But hopefully down the road in Illinois, assuming they can still rack up some wins here, this is going to look like a really, really solid win. Come CFP talk time.
So the atmosphere in Bloomington and at Memorial Stadium for this game. Your thoughts on just the fans, the entire atmosphere, everything that went into this game on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Look, I mean, well, like 15 minutes before the game started, we're still waiting for the Bison to run out onto the field, for Indiana to come out of the tunnel. I was standing up in the press box and just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the whole lay of the land in the stadium and just, I remember, we talked about this. This is, one of those nights where you kind of look around and you say, take a mental snapshot, because we've never, even going back to last year, right, with Nebraska, with Michigan, those kind of night games, like, those were big games, but it felt like more fleeting in those moments, whereas this game had the month-long build up, everything that went into it, and it's like, okay, we're finally here, we can see everything, and it just felt like a crowd that was ready to explode, and obviously Indiana gave them a ton to cheer for tonight.
Yeah, the fans showed up in a very big way, and it did make for a memorable night. Plus, the drone show at halftime was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was amazing, and
Yeah.
and real quick before we let you go, this Indiana defense didn't give up a point last week. Didn't give up a touchdown to Kennesaw State. They gave up one touchdown to Illinois. Now we're talking about 3 games in the season. Well, through the 4 games, Indiana's given up 3 touchdowns in 4 games. All of them on a big play, a big chunk play. Just your thoughts on this defense and the job that they've done, even if they did give up the one 59-yard touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, going into this week, I had a good feeling about Indiana defensively just because, we saw Illinois struggle in the first 3 weeks. And those weren't superior teams. Duke hasn't turned out to be all that great. Western Michigan, Western Illinois, obviously a tier below, and they still struggle to give up pressures against them. And the more I looked at Illinois and sort of their underlying numbers, I'm like, we saw what Indiana's defensive line did last year, and while it hasn't, it's been sort of a slow burn with the defensive line this year. I felt like Brian Haynes and Pat Coons and those coaches were going to get the guys right tonight, especially against the Illinois offensive line that really has struggled with consistency issues this year. And we saw it tonight. Like, a huge shout out to Mario Landino, Tyreek Tucker, 2 guys whose names don't get called a lot, in the spotlight that is. But both those guys had 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. The whole defensive line I thought played really, really well. And I made a note of this. Like, there was a point in the game, even like by halftime, where I lost count of the amount of times I saw Illinois offensive linemen on their backs and Indiana defensive linemen just steamroll over them. It was truly impressive, and I'm not sure there's enough adjectives to describe how Indiana manhandled them at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it was a fantastic game. This is Jared Kelly from Peegs.com. Be sure to check out all of his coverage on Peegs.com. He's going to have a ton along with Matt Weaver and Jeff Rabjohns. Jared, thank you so much for giving me a call, and hopefully, we'll get to enjoy some more of these in the near future.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ken.
Appreciate it. 812-393-2600 is the number in the chat. Jason said, I loved every minute of the game, but I'm still scared that our defense is suspect to the big play. Got to get that figured out. If a team can get it once, they're able to get it again. Hopefully, they will be able to clean that up. Some of it, and that touchdown was created off of some confusion with some lack of communication between the defensive backs. That's something that does have to get cleaned up for sure. We got another caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
My name is Jacob Radke. I'm from Augusta, Georgia. And my question for you is, where does this win rank in IU football history for you?
Good question. You're talking about the couple of Ohio State game wins in the 80s.
So 87, 88. Yeah. My dad was on those teams.
Okay. Those games were huge. The Penn State win in 2020 was a big one because it was a big boost for this program. But sadly, there were no fans there for that one. You're talking about the Rose Bowl win over Purdue that sent Indiana to the Rose Bowl in '67. Other than that, look, this is an Indiana team that has 7 total wins against top 10 teams in its history. And this is only the 3rd one to happen in Bloomington. And it was Penn State. It was a win in '67 and this one. And look, Indiana just beat a top 10 team by the biggest margin, not just in program history, but in the history of the Big Ten. It's a huge win, and it's such a huge boost for this program, especially with so many visitors here today too. Not fans, but recruits were here to see all of this.
1,000%.
Yeah, and so that is really huge.
Yeah. Huge on the recruiting trail. Also huge everywhere. I mean, I've been following Indiana since we couldn't win a bucket game for 13 years straight. So, yeah, it's a huge win. Yeah, I hope the AP poll and all the polls out there see it the same way and not just give IU the finger like they usually do.
Well, you know what? Don't worry too much about the rankings. They won't be as high as you'll want them to be. But if Indiana, they just keep on rolling along, at some point you can't ignore what's happening anymore.
100%.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. 812-393-2600 is the number. I'm excited to every single week I get to play this.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
15-2. Them's the facts, kids. 15-2. Got another caller. If you want to call, lines are open. 812-393-2600 is the number. Somebody with an 847-917 number called and dropped out because I was talking to Jared. Call back if you want. I'll get you on right away. Caller, the new caller, I'd like your name, where you're from, and what you got.
I'm Marty, and I'm about 200 feet to your right.
Hello, Marty. How you doing?
For you. Pretty good. I just got 3 words for you. Belt to ass.
Belt to ass. Yes, sir.
Good night.
Good night. There you go. They said they were going to do that. I appreciate that call. That's awesome. There's a microphone here at Memorial Stadium. You don't have to be shy. I'm out here doing it. I could go ahead and turn the camera and put it on my wife too, but she would not be happy with me. CW talked about on the chat talks about the types of communication breakdowns happen in the NFL all the time. They do, and I understand why it raises eyebrows because we're IU fans, and so we're terrified things are going to go poorly. But Kurt says on the chat, can we start discussing next week? Curious how we feel about an Iowa team that just gave up 28. Winning on the road in the Big Ten is a challenge, but it is something that this team, I don't doubt that they have that ability to do that. It'll be interesting. Got another caller if you want to be a part of this. 812-393-2600 is the number. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got. We just lost him. He just bounced. That's unfortunate. Call back. 847-404 number. Call back. I want to hear from you. Megan says we're still going to have to beat Ohio State, Penn State, or Oregon to make the playoffs. Oh, by the way, Mike Merritt, go Bears. The dirty Packers fan walking by me. Megan says we're going to have to beat Ohio State, Penn State, or Oregon to make the playoffs, probably 2 of them. Is this team better than last year's? We don't play Ohio State, which has somebody mentioned that on the chat. But yeah, you gotta win one of the main teams to get back and to prove to everybody that you're for real, and that's fine. You know, that's part of the equation. You have to be able to beat the teams that are in front of you. Kurt Signetti has been the IU head coach for 17 games. He's won 15 of them. The 2 that he's lost to is Ohio State and Notre Dame. And winning at Iowa next week will be really important. It's going to be really key to where this team is going to, just a perception of the team. So it's going to be really important. And somebody made the point, by the way, that Indiana scored 35 points in the first half against Illinois tonight. The basketball team last year in the first half in their game here at Assembly Hall, I think they scored 32. So football outscored basketball against Illinois tonight. It was beautiful. Jason also mentions the commitment that Darren DeVries got today from point guard from the class of 2027. Huge commitment from top 35 class of 2027 prospect Chase Branham. That's a good. We're going to have a lot of time to talk about him, and I love the fact that he's a junior. May reclassify. There's a little bit of talk about that, but the fact of the matter is, he commits to Indiana during his official visit, and it's a huge pickup for the Hoosiers, to say the least. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open as we head towards the midnight hour. Going to try to pull up the audio from Kurt Signetti. Let's see if I can do that. See if I'm smart enough to do that. I think I might be able to do just that. All right, let's take a shot at this. Hopefully it'll work. Oh, they're going to try to make me do an ad. I ain't playing this ad though. On here. All right, we'll try something different in just a little bit. Let that load up more. Again, 812-393-2600 input up. I'll shut this down for just a second. Let this get to where we could skip. All right.
And stadium and popping.
Here's Kurt Signetti.
Team, dominant performance. The pump block got us going. Then we busted the cover, going in touchdown. And then we made a lot of explosive plays. We questioned the quarterback. I think he sacked 7 times. We really just tried to get out of the game and shorten the game at the end and really kind of broke it a little, I think. So it's a great win, and proud of coaches, proud of player. I think we've got a lot better last teams.
Yes, on your left, Zach.
Do you feel this is dominant performance with the top kind of opponent, silencing the critics that you guys have heard about the last 9 months that should be trying to pass it past them?
I don't control that. I only control the development of our football team. I felt very confident about this game going in based on what I saw on film. And there's a lot of football left.
Zach from Matt Weaver.
Kurt, last year, Curtis had a kind of similar game in his Big Ten debut. Just what did you think of Fernando tonight? As efficient as he was, obviously 5 touchdown passes kind of speaks for
Yeah, I thought he took a major step forward last week and then again this week, and really had a lot of confidence in him going into the game. I think his progress has really accelerated the last couple of weeks, and I thought he was right on target. And what I really liked about the team is the way they play. Every play one play at a time, and first play, last play the game, regardless of circumstances. That, to me, that's key to the
Matt Weaver on your right with Pat.
Coach, you mentioned the 7 sacks. Obviously, I know you guys brought some pressure, but your defensive line really physically with them tonight. Just talk about the job those guys did. Just the whole defensive front getting pressure and shutting down an offense that can score a lot of points.
That's what I saw on tape too. And I thought our defensive line could whip their offensive line, and we did. And they came out and played with tempo early and give him time to throw. He's going to get the ball where it's got to go. And I think the sacks were huge. Block punt got us going, and then they couldn't stop us. They couldn't match up on the perimeter. And then we broke their will and just pounded him. And he's a good quarterback, but he took a lot of sacks last year too.
Pat far left and down.
On Mendoza, his ability to make quick decisions and then accurate throws. Where did that come from, and how much of a luxury is that?
Oh, well, physical attributes. Got a quick whip, strong arm, accurate, mobile. The biggest thing when he came to us was working with him in the pocket and drop back game, being a little bit more patient, poised, going through his progressions. A lot of this stuff is RPO stuff with us, and in this game too, because we thought there were some things there we could take advantage of. I think he's got a tremendous upside, and he prepares. He's a tremendous person. He will do everything he can to be the best he can. It means a lot to him. He wants to be great, and he's made great progress the last couple of years.
Adam far left with Scott.
Yeah, Kurt over here. I know every year is different, but what type of message do you think you guys have said about where this program is and what you guys can be this season?
I don't. You guys control all that stuff. I just got to get it paid. And then we all play our games and see what shakes out at the end of the year.
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have to wipe more than 4 times after you poop, here's why.
The Mayo Clinic confirms that.
I want to
Scott far left with Sammy.
Kurt, I wanted to ask you about your running game. 112 yards. I think it's the team that traditionally does a good job against the lot. How are you able to continuously pound the pack?
It's the mentality. Our guys we're tied in together. We don't talk a lot. pretty much we get the field. It's all business. We can always start things up last year, media wise, because I felt like I had to. The place was fan base was dead. Maybe it was set some expectations. But we kind of go about our business, kind of a blue collar outfit. And I think there was a point in that game where we broke their will.
Saying we like to set coach was right following their touchdown. You bring the punt team out, they call timeout.
Yeah.
What was the chess match there? Was it you were going to punt?
I think they had 12 on the field, 3 punt team out there. I was a little torn on what to do. And then kind of had a deja vu about 14 years ago once that happened. We elected to go for it at that point and converted, and that was a pretty big choice. Yeah, there were some couple special teams plays there. The block punt that play, and then there was the third one. I can't recall what it was exactly. Oh, they had another penalty on the punt, I think, and they negated it. But that one, after I thought a little bit more about it, we felt like we had a good play, and it worked.
Set things up and ready.
Perfectly. You guys ran the ball tonight and the amount of time Fernando had to work with. Just how would you assess the offensive line play tonight and how much potential for Pat going forward?
I mean, potential, this and that. It's what you put on tape. And I felt really good about our line coming in this season. We got some really good players there. They reflect kind of the personality of their coach, Bob. They're tough guys. They're gritty guys. And, they've been playing well. And I'm expecting to continue to get better.
Regularly left the game.
Yeah, you guys had 6 tackles for loss after their first 5 possessions. Finished with 10 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. Why was the question? So was that?
I mean, put the fifth game on. Same thing happened. The difference in that game was, Duke turned it over 5 times. They got to him right off the bat, the game 4 or 5 times. And, I thought we could too.
Daniel, no direction.
You mentioned the strides y'all made last week and out there. Where have you seen the largest leap so far?
Based on what we're putting on the field, from the beginning and the way we're playing in all 3 phases. I mean, there's no let up in these guys.
Jim, last one.
Kurt, I know you talked about Fernando and his growth, but there was a particular play in which he went through all this progression, but still never gave up on life. Sherrod was hanging on the sidelines, and that was a key play there. How much growth does that really show since he got here?
Well, positive performance, confidence, belief, and that becomes a cycle. And then with all these other quarterbacks, and he probably got more physical ability than he does. Ronaldo. And I think Chandler's doing a great job with him too. I like the way it's going in game plan sessions and Steve kind of playing the last 2 games. And Fernando's the kind of guy that he won't get big headed. He'll keep his nose to the grindstone. Do a great job to prepare on him. He will improve. So, all right, thanks.
812-393-2600 is the number. And there was Kurt Signetti from his press conference. Looks like bringing that up may have messed with my calls here. Or I think we might have one. See, caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got. You there, caller? Might have to try this again. Looks like there might be a connection error. All right, we'll allow that. There we go. Getting everything back up and running. Caller, can you hear me?
Recording is on. Dual channel.
Nope. That didn't work. All right. That's all right. 812-393-2600 is the number. By the way, you heard a weird ad in the middle of that. I see that somebody magnesium ad. You know what? Sometimes they just throw in an ad in the Peegs.com YouTube feed of the press conference. So that's new. That's interesting. So Russell says, I think a lot more than two guys here hear their names called in April, talking about playing on Sundays. And you know what? Uh, you have guys that are playing at this kind of level. It does make a huge difference in just the perception of the program. Just there were a ton of NFL scouts here today, and that was great to see. We have somebody else on the chat said how great it is that we're talking about IU football. At midnight, Kurt says, "Can we relish in how awesome it is to be celebrating IU football at midnight on a Saturday?" Yeah, today was one giant party, including Mike Kadick in the one of the suites on the field ripping his shirt off, chugging a beer, getting the crowd going. Everybody was having a ball in the rain. Got a caller? Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, this is Michael Heilman. We're driving home for the game. I didn't know if you watched college game night. I thought it was hilarious. Everybody picked Illinois. That's back at being four. Kirk Herbstreit was all about Brett Bielema teams owning the line of scrimmage, and IU just utterly dominated that line of scrimmage. What here, the line, how we just dominated there.
Yeah, I mean, Signetti said that he thought that that was something that Indiana could do after looking at the and everything and the tape. And I know that that is something that they look to take advantage of. And Indiana's defensive line completely owned Illinois' offensive line, and IU's offensive line owned Illinois. It was just a complete domination on both sides of the ball. And I give Indiana and the coaching staff a lot of credit for just having a great game plan and making sure that guys were focused because they absolutely dominated on both sides of the line. Line completely owned Illinois' offense. All right. That's it with that caller. Fantastic. 812-393-2600 is the number. We got another caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Bill from Boston. Had a great game. I mean, as a Bears fan, can't tell you how fantastic it is just to see any type of success on a football field. It's unbelievable. But I was really curious as to whether or not, like in Illinois, was overvalued heading into this game because they beat Duke, but Duke turned it over like 4 or 5 times. But then I thought Duke just ring it up. They beat North Carolina State. Mm, it, you looks legit. I mean, against all odds. So it's amazing. Love it.
You mentioned them being overvalued. So Illinois was bringing back a bunch of starters from the bowl winners that they were last year. Brett Bielema's their head coach, and obviously the media and other coaches like the success that he's had. So that high ranking is a preseason ranking that is there, and then they haven't lost. So there's no excuse to kind of drop them down. And so part of that ranking, especially when it comes to preseason rankings and this early in the season, a big part of that is reputation. And I think right today we saw how close reputation is to reality today because Indiana proved that Illinois wasn't anywhere near as good as their ranking said.
No, and I mean, you just cannot bet against Signetti. This guy proves everybody wrong. So he's level and he's not bad. As long as he has the horses that got, especially on the line, um, he's going to outcoach anybody. With all due respect to Brett Bielema.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Just an absolutely great job. And taking a program that was really not in a good place. After Tom Allen, his last year wasn't in a good place, he hit the ground running and he has no intentions of stopping. And if he has to keep proving himself over and over again, if he has to keep making sure that people understand that IU football is not the old IU football, he's just going to keep doing it. And that's why it's so much fun to watch. You mentioned being a Bears fan. I'm a Bears fan myself, and I feel the same way. It's great that we're not watching the same game on Saturday and Sunday. At least now there's something fun to watch on Saturdays.
Well, exactly. Now, in all honesty, though, man, I am a huge Penn State fan because I'm scared to death if James Franklin doesn't win the big one. They're coming after Big Buddy big time. So, go Penn State. God bless you. I want Big Buddy here for a long time.
I will say this much: Kurt Signetti is headed towards his mid 60s. He has done amazing things here with this program. And there's the question of, do you want to start over somewhere else, move your family? All you can do is enjoy the time for the time being. Don't worry about what the future holds. But he is building something special here in Bloomington.
No doubt. No doubt. Thanks so much. Great show.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate the call. 812-393-2600 is the number. Kurt says Signetti ain't living on the chat, ain't leaving. Think so either. I don't think so either. He seems pretty locked in here. Pretty great. He's done an amazing job. He has a great relationship with his players and the fans. Really enjoy it. Got another caller. Caller, can I have your name, where you're from, and what you got?
Yeah, I'm LJ. I just left the game. I wonder what the narrative is going to be tomorrow. Is it that IU just not, is it Illinois that's not that good, or was it IU just dominated? Usually, it's against IU. Illinois just not that good is what's going to be said tomorrow. Is what I'm afraid is going to happen, and the rankings won't show the difference there.
Well, here's the thing. Again, you look at it, and yeah, that will be part of it, no question. That well, Illinois, I guess they weren't as good as we thought. So it's putting respect on Indiana is not a habit of national media, to say the least. But uh, at some point, you just keep racking up these wins. Don't worry about the rankings. Don't worry about what people are talking. Enjoy every Saturday because Kurt Signetti is going to, and this team, everything points to them continuing to make believers of people who go up against them. Because again, this Illinois defense is supposed to be a fantastic defense. Indiana just ran for 300 yards on them. Fernando Mendoza had 2 incompletions on the day, 5 touchdown passes. So, against what everybody said was a great defense.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Yeah,
about
it's not
that
like
part.
they ran up the score. It's not like they ran up the score. It's
Right.
just, they just played football.
Yeah. And it could have been worse because they dropped 2 pick sixes. So
Yeah, true. Go Hoosiers.
I appreciate the call. Thanks a lot. 812-393-2600 is the number. We had somebody else that was on the line and then he just dropped out. So that's unfortunate. I do so enjoy all the phone calls that we got. So far, we've had at least 17 people call in, which is quite a bit. Trenjamin Button, a guy who's shown up on our chat more than once. Signetti doesn't try to build something major and leave unless it's some astounding amount of money. I skipped a word because that's how it is. We got our caller back in. I don't know how big Wisconsin's pockets are. Guys, enjoy this year. Don't worry about next year. Don't worry about next year. It'll all work out. We got our next caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey man, it's Alex from Pendleton. It's a great game, man. I was actually watching it, and I was like, we started kind of, getting away with the game, and I'm like, man, this is not like as fun as I thought. Once we started, beating their ass pretty much. Like, I mean, I wanted to win handedly, but after about 45 points, I started to like kind of lose interest. And I was like, well, I guess it's a good thing. But on the other hand, like, I mean, with Indiana teams, it's always like, we're never that good. It's always the other team was just that bad. And then I'm starting to think, I'm like, well, I'm looking at Illinois' schedule. I'm like, well, why were they ranked number 9 to begin with? Like, I know they said that their defense was great and everything, but their record this year wasn't extremely impressive. I mean, it wasn't as good as ours. And
Again,
last year I guess they were all right, but
and again, they won their bowl last year, was bringing back 20 of 22 starters, I think. Brett Bielema's their head coach. So over the summer, people say, well, you put all that together, they're a top 10 team, and then they haven't lost. And so, in the mind of a lot of voters, that if you don't lose, I'm not really going to drop you down too far. And so, you kind of keep those spots early in the season. And then when you're tested and you fail that test miserably, this is what happens.
Right, but 9th though, 9 seems like that's pretty high, man. That's a lot. We didn't even get that look, and we went to the playoffs last year. You know what I mean?
Well, because people were like, well,
Illinois,
but it's Bielema, and so that's exactly what that's about. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, but another thing, man. My dad passed away shortly before the season season started. And,
I'm sorry to hear that.
He was just a huge no time, man. He was just a major fan, man, and he would be blowing me up right now talking about this game and talking about everything. Fernando's just looking incredible. I hope to see him improve and keep getting better. And then hearing that the recruits were there tonight, for basketball and for football, I hope that just gained us a lot of attention and put other teams on notice that we're here to stay, hopefully. And after last year's run, I was really kind of anxious. Are we going to keep it going? Are we going to keep it going? And it looks like we're right on track, man. Picking up where we left off. So that's all I got for you, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir.
812-393-2600 is the number. We got another caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Rob Thompson, Greenwood. How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing good, Rob.
Hey, man. Hey, I know you've been around a long time. You and Rabby, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you got any good stories about Rabby?
I have several stories about Rabby, but what are your thoughts about this game?
All right. So, yeah, so off the record, we'll talk about that. But hey, I just want to know what do you think is the ceiling for this team? Like this was amazing tonight, right? Like, thank you to IU, thank you to IU football. But what do you think is the ceiling for this team?
I don't look at it as a ceiling kind of thing. To me, it is a because like last year, I wouldn't have been like, their ceiling is getting to the college football playoffs. That wasn't even something that I was on my radar at this point in the season last year. This to me is about steps. So Indiana has continued to play well through the non-conference season. And then being able to beat a top 10 team at home is another step. Being able to now go to Iowa and win at Iowa and beat Oregon, these are the things that are when you're on the road and you're beating teams, that's kind of the next step. So get there. Can they get there?
Yeah.
Games like this show that they have that ability.
Hey, Ken, though, it was a 63% drumming, though.
I know.
Like, that top 10 team came into Memorial Stadium. Like, you've been a fan for a long time. So have I. We've not experienced that.
No, we haven't. So I don't.
63-10.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? They scored 10 fewer points against Illinois than they did against Indiana State.
Yeah, like I wanted to take my shirt off tonight, man. It was awesome. It was awesome. It's unbelievable what IU football is, man. So hey, I appreciate you. Hey, my buddies love you. They're listening. Stalwong are listening. Thank you, Ken. Keep doing what you're doing, my man. Go Hoosiers.
I appreciate it. It's IU football.
Tell Robbie I said what up.
I will. All right. Take care. 812-393-2600. Ryan says, shout out to your 10-year-old co-host. Hope they get to join you again on the show soon. Yeah, Charlie's enjoying his newfound fame. We got another caller. Caller, if I have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Yeah, this is John from Powder Springs, Georgia.
Hi, how are you doing? How are things in Georgia tonight?
Hey, great. Usually, I stay up late listening to our Georgia Bulldogs here with their 4 hour post game and the brunch the next day. But great to be a Hoosier fan. I graduated from IU in 2004, stayed until 2005. Was talking to a buddy November 8th, 2003, Indiana 17, Illinois 14. We lost our vocal cords yelling at that game. It was one of the games that we actually won, a Big Ten game. It was great. It's just great to see this game tonight on such a huge stage. But even with the score, what, 60 to 10?
63-10,
60
yes.
something to 10? Yeah, I mean, I get, as a long-time Indiana fan, I got to wait till the very last minute to feel comfortable.
Oh, I feel the same way.
I hope we can beat either Penn State or Oregon and get back to the playoffs.
It would be fantastic.
What do you think?
It would be fantastic. And they have that ability. I mean, look, we saw what they did last year. Last year was last year, and I understand that. But this year, you have a team that's really getting better by the week. Whether it's quarterback, whether it's defense, they are getting better in every single phase, every single week. And if it now it's not, nobody says that's going to continue, but we've seen it to this point. So that gives you plenty of encouragement that this is a team that is now going into Saturdays, not hoping to win, but expecting to win. And when they go on the road at Iowa next week, they're going to expect to beat the Hawkeyes. And we have seen that this coaching staff can put together a good game plan to do just that. And so it's exciting. They'll have every opportunity to pull off a victory.
I was talking to a friend. We went to the Wisconsin game, November 4th, 2017. I got tickets through the Veterans Day weekend or whatnot. We had a whole section to ourselves. My wife was like, she's from North Carolina. She was like, what's going on here? This isn't real football. And it's just amazing to see, like, told her tonight, like, look at this. This is real. We're on NBC tonight. This is a real deal. We've changed the path. And talking to a lot of people, I'm always wearing my IU gear down here in Georgia, and people laugh. But last year, they're starting to take us real, so it feels real good. The Georgia people are giving us some credit. Of course, they think they're, Kirby and everything, but I think we're good. I think we're a top 10 team. I just don't think we get the respect, and I'm about that. Let's get top 18, 19. But we'll prove them in the end again.
And that's exactly
and
it.
I appreciate your show.
That's
Ken, I appreciate your show. I've called a couple of times just to back when you were on the network, just to kind of extend the show. Tom Allen era, like some games we should have won. But I don't know. It's great. It's a great time to be a Hoosier fan.
It is. Thank you so much for the call.
Thanks, Ken.
Appreciate it. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are finally open. God, this is really fantastic to have this much excitement. 63-10 as somebody's driving way too fast through the parking lot. To be able to turn in this kind of performance though on the big stage, we've seen times before when Indiana has maybe had that opportunity to make a statement and has come up short. Here it is, all the national cameras on. They booted Notre Dame off the network to get to this game because Notre Dame was delayed with a lightning delay. Thank God we didn't have a lightning delay. That is the absolute worst. But being able to go ahead and have this time to enjoy this victory is really, really important. You don't get a lot of these. Certainly, Indiana fans haven't had a lot of these, and so being able to just enjoy the evening, enjoy what we're seeing from Mendoza and Kobe Martin and Kalen Black and Roman Hemby and Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, E.J. Williams, all these guys, um, they're good. That's it. There's no other way to put it. They're good. Consider that Indiana gave up 10 points today. Uh, you had one 59-yard touchdown. Another one they drive in late in the first half. Held scoreless in the second half. Even after the backups came in, Indiana kept their foot on the gas, and that's exactly what you want. Last call for phone calls, 812-393-2600 is the number. Again, last call here. Been an absolutely incredible night here in Bloomington. Uh, Maybe some people will start to believe in the Hoosiers. It's hard to overlook them at this point. This game has to raise eyebrows. They played well. They stepped on Illinois' neck and didn't let them up. 579 yards of total offense, 300 yards on the ground. Folks, just 2 penalties on IU on the day. That in and of itself is a change from the past, some of the other IU teams that we've seen. But, just the numbers that they put up is amazing. Rushing yards, 2 rushing yards. That means they ran for 6 feet on the night. Illinois did, while Indiana put up 312. Just absolutely incredible. 31 first downs for the Hoosiers versus 9 for Illinois. Got one more caller that I'll take. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Ryan in Bethesda, Maryland. How are you?
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing?
Great. First time caller, long time listener. Just wanted to say how excited I am about the season, how excited I am for the East Coast swing here in November, and think we have a legitimate shot here at returning to where we were last year. And I've never seen this much excitement around the Hoosiers squad. Uh, Even after last year, this is reinforcement, and you see program building, and you see replacements come in and perform at the highest level, and that's all you can really expect. So, job well done. Let's carry it on to Iowa and beyond. And I really think this team is well placed for a run here and is a legitimate threat in the conference. And as a Hoosier fan and a lifelong Indiana guy, that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Amen to all of that. It is a ton of fun, ain't it? Appreciate the call.
And no, I hope to see you here in Maryland when you come out, and hopefully at Penn State too. It'd be great for your show to start, getting on the road with us now that we're a legitimate program, and hope that the media follows suit as well.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Got another caller. I said that as the last one, but I'm a liar. Caller, if I have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Just a quick question. That next kid being born, could I name it Kurt or King? What's a better name for my my next born child?
Sig makes sense. You could also just go with Nettie.
Yeah, Natty if it's a girl. Right. I agree.
Go look at that. Yeah. See, you're covered either way. You could have Sig, you could have Nettie. I don't see why that would be a problem. That sounds like a fantastic idea.
Yes, sir. Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers. Thanks for the call. Yeah, calls from all over the country. JM says, been an IU fan for 30-something years. It's so fun to follow the Hoosiers the last 2 seasons. Don and Buck are having so much fun on the radio call. And that was, I know that Don was really, really enjoying himself today. Buck said that he expected this to happen, maybe not 63-10, but he expected Indiana to win this ball game. And you know what? It is, especially for Fish. Now, I've watched a lot of bad football over the years. Fish is been there, even longer since, he started doing this before I was born, and I'm 51 years old. And so he's doing that, and I'm happy for guys like Fish to be able to start to enjoy this and see Indiana playing at the level that they did, have an atmosphere that is a real atmosphere. here. I think this is it's a ton of fun. Keep the callers coming, Ken. Kurt says let's keep it going. This is grade A content. Yeah, but we're headed towards 12:30. We've been on the air for an hour now, and gotta wrap it up. I mean, we're beating the hell out of this horse, but just like Indiana beat the hell out of Illinois, I'll take it. So the Hoosiers 63-10 winners at Memorial Stadium in the best atmosphere that I've seen in my 21 years of covering this team, bar none. And you had fans in the seats with 16 minutes before the game. Perfect. That's what it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to work. And that energy that was in that building at the start of the game was incredibly important for Indiana. People didn't wander in. They had asses in the seats right from the start. And that is what something that has been missing. Now let's do that for the next home game, the next home game. That's where Indiana fans, that culture has to turn. And hopefully that's exactly what we're seeing. Well, as we head towards the 12:30 hour, I'm going to wrap this up for the evening. Fantastic night on the air. I love talking to you guys so much. Love talking to you guys so much. Haven't looked at any other Big Ten scores. I see somebody putting some stuff in the chat there about USC's score right now. Don't know what exactly that is, but what a day in Bloomington. 63-10 win over Illinois. You get a commitment from a top 35 point guard. It's just, there's a nice vibe here right now. Nice vibe. And Kurt Signetti has absolutely changed things here. He's changed things and made this special. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down now. So it says, so great to be an IU fan in SEC country. Yeah. Indiana's got to keep winning those ball games to shut those people up. I don't disagree with that. I appreciate it. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs postgame live. I want to thank you for listening. I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time. But for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.